My name's Tom Woodrow. I am the MD of Woodrow's MC Motorcycle Shop and Geek Media, who make Adventure Bike TV and Motorbike TV, along with lots of other things. And yeah, this is my collection. So I have quite a few bikes in my collection. Not all of them are working. In fact, I have this habit of seeing a bike and going, oh, brilliant, what a great project bike, getting it and then finding I haven't got any time to actually sort out the project. So I'll start with my KTMs. In my kind of collection that I keep here at the shop, I have a KTM 990, which has been fully rallied up. We rallied it up for the show, and it's kind of mine and Sam's. Me and Sam, who's my best friend and also one of the presenters, we bought two KTM 990s. One that we wanted to turn into an adventure bike and one that we wanted to turn into a rally bike. We decided that although we got some of the stuff we needed for the adventure bike, like some big safari tanks and things, we decided to concentrate on the 990 Rally first. So technically that's Sam's bike, he technically owns it, but then all the rally kit on it is kind of mine. So we kind of half and half, I guess, own that bike. He rides it mostly, he's a much better rider than me, but I do ride it sometimes. But also there's a whole load of bits on there as well from the other KTMs. So we bought these two KTMs, and we found that actually we ended up doing is using one of the KTMs that was meant to be into a big adventure bike has become like a donor for the rally bike to keep that running. So there is a very in bits KTM 990 back in a lockup that we have, and then here at the shop I keep the 990 Rally when Sam isn't racing it, which is, yeah, really nice piece of kit. I do like it a lot, but a bit too much bike for me, probably. On the road it's horrible because it's so rally specific, and it has the front end off a 950 Enduro, all the suspension, different exhaust system for rally tower and things like that. It's a bit of a crazy bike, but I do love it. The other KTM I have here in my collection, Claire has a 690 which she took around the world, and absolutely great bike. It's a 690, got again a full kind of rally tower on. It's got an extended tank on the back, bigger tanks on the front. I mean, it's just made for adventure, and they successfully kind of travel around the world on them. And Claire's is amazing. Basically it's still Claire's. I've always said it's hers, but we keep it here now. We look after it for her. Basically to stop her getting rid of it, because I just think it's a lovely bike. Even has, you know, she did some custom graphics that she designed herself, all based around Alice in Wonderland on there. So it's just a really cool bike and looks brilliant in the shop window. So yeah, that's the three KTMs. Then we have a little Honda C90, which is actually one of our investors, Lucy. It's her bike that she had when a kid, but we keep that here now. One of my first big trips I ever did was down through Africa on a Honda C90. I made a film of it, and yeah, it was an interesting time, but certainly amazing memories. So to have one that's in such good nick here is brilliant. And actually there's a whole group of local guys who've just bought a load of Honda C90s that were in not particularly great condition. They keep coming in and they're taking bits off the bike to kind of not stealing them, but just taking bits off the bike so that they can see how they work, and then putting them back on our bike and going home and fixing their bike to make sure it looks the same. So it's nice to have one in such great condition, really. And you know, despite being the most sold bike of all time, they're getting pretty hard to come by. So yeah, really do. I love that one. Nice kind of ruby red. Next we have the BMW K100. That's the moment we're doing a bike build on that. So that has a bit of an interesting story actually. A friend of mine bought a house, and in the garden there was kind of like a falling down old shed garage they never even looked in because it was so kind of fallen down and broken, and no one thought for a second there was anything in there. And I think they'd lived there almost 2 years when they decided that they'd go down there and actually do something with the building. They were going to demolish it. And they opened it, well, I say opened it, more kind of prized apart all the wood that had fallen down, and they found a Mercedes in there, an old Mercedes, a kind of 70s Mercedes, which they bought out and sold. And then when they bought that out, when the guy came to collect it after they sold it, they bought it out, and behind there was this RT, K100 RT, which had fallen over on its side, and all the kind of plastics and things were damaged and broken and stuff. So he just said, would I like it? And I said, yes. So I grabbed it. I mean, the fairings were all shot, they're all broken and cracked, and it wasn't going to happen. So we decided to turn that into a bit of a cafe racer. We did a feature on it, tried to turn it into a cafe racer in 24 hours, which did not work at all. Now we're taking it a bit more seriously, not that seriously, because we're trying to build it off wish.com, but you know, we're trying to get there with it. And if the wish.com doesn't work, we'll eventually do it properly, but they make such brilliant cafe racers, so I'm quite excited to see how that turns out. The other bike we have here in my collection at the moment is again a bit of a loner, which is a Solex, which is like an old cycle bike where you can drop an engine onto the front wheel and it turns, an old French thing. That's quite exciting. We're just trying to get that running again, but there's not much that needs doing to it, just a bit of patina. But it's a lovely old thing to have, and quite a conversation starter. Probably the most, oh no, the C90 I'd say starts the most conversations, but it does make we get a lot of conversations off the back of that. Oh, what's next? I have CCM. CCM at the moment is my only running road legal bike at the moment. So it is my kind of daily user. It's the thing that I jump on and go and play about. The great thing is it's the CCM Spitfire, but it's the Maverick edition, it's number 2, and that is their kind of scrambler version. So we have used it off-road. I quite enjoy using it off-road, and yeah, lovely little piece of kit, to be fair. I really enjoy riding it, fallen completely in love with it. So yeah, that's the one I kind of ride the most at the moment. Then we move on to the Herald. The Herald kind of has pride of place here at the moment. It's on a little kind of plinth up on the stage. Yeah, I fell in love with this bike. I borrowed it off Herald for Tales from Trails, which is a segment we do on one of the shows I make called Motorbike TV. And the idea of the show, the segment, is that we were going to do the UK TET Trans-Euro Trail on 125s. So I think Graham had a Sinus 125 Adventure. Sam had the new C90, which is now 125, and I had that. And first of all, I was like, I'm having this because my dog's called Maverick. Brilliant. It's weird because I have the CCM Maverick, I have the Herald Maverick, and my dog's called Maverick, so good job I like Top Gun, really. Yeah, I think that bike was the surprise, really. I wasn't expecting to like it. It's only a 125, it's a pretty small engine, not what I'm used to. And we started doing the TET with it, and it was just flawless. Everyone loved it. It sounds great. It's nice and light. It only costs brand new about £2 grand. So honestly, it's a perfect off-road bike. If you drop it, you don't care, because you can just repair it really easily, and it's only £2 grand. It's not like you're dropping a GS that cost you £14,000. And then when you add to that, you know, just how light it is. So if you do drop it, it's so easy to pick up. It did everything we asked it to, and it was a great bike. So at the end of it, I turned around and it was a press bike that they've been using for quite a long time, and I asked whether I could buy it off them, and they very kindly agreed. And we basically made a deal. They said I could buy it off them for a minuscule amount, I won't say how much, if they could let everyone know that I bought it so much I loved it, which is of course what I did. And also if if I agreed that when I sell it, I don't sell it, I auction it for charity. So yeah, I do quite, yeah, very much in love with that bike still. Sadly, over COVID, it ended up sitting outside because I didn't have space for it. The cover blew off and I didn't realise, and it spent almost 2 years outside not doing anything. And then it started first time after 2 years being outside. I didn't even need to charge the battery, just first time. Brilliant. So it needs a bit of work now because, you know, it's a bit rusty in places because it has had a hard life. But we are excited to turn it into something a bit more. So we're doing a build on that as well. But like all my other bikes, it really depends on when I get around to it. So that's my collection.